I'm Brandi Smart.
And I'm Malia Rifkin.
And together we are Empire Arts Gallery.
My work in the gallery currently is a series of mandalas that I have drawn. They were inspired by being home alone and needing some way to not just watch TV. So I kind of just spaced out and jumped into the drawing. I started with a series of an X across the paper and a handful of circles that were symmetrically placed on the paper, and just started filling them in, and it ultimately evolved into the mandalas that I have displayed.
My work in the gallery is a series of nightscapes, areas that I've taken photos in the middle of the night. I've painted later. They're all acrylic on canvas. Everything that I paint, there's not one other person. It's just you in that space and no one else around. And often, if you're driving late at night and stuff, that's always some of my favorite things, is a little oasis space in the middle of nowhere.
Mostly we're just a method of escape, just kind of spacing out and not thinking about anything else. I think it's my way of relieving stress.
I've been doing nightscapes for a while. This one specifically, an apartment complex. It reminded me of a purgatory. It's like this cold, dark place, but there's stuff going on the inside, but you can't get there.
I let the pattern guide itself. It all starts with one dot in the center. I radiate from that center point.
Well, I wrestle with telling people what it is. It's strange to not have that anonymity if you're the only person that views the area.
That was definitely meant to be more whimsical, extremely girly. I was feeling isolated by being the only woman in the place that I worked.
The whole area is just like open, and for some strange reason, somehow it is still empty. The sky's so big, especially at night, and it's so empty.
Cha 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 was actually me getting back into drawing the mandalas. I had taken a break from doing them because we opened a business during a pandemic.
This was during a tropical storm. It's just a dark space. Something I've always been really attracted to is fluorescent lighting. It just floods everything out,
I must have just come back from Mexico. The color palette, there's something about the red and turquoise combo that just feels very Spanish to me.
That will be an inspiration for a lot of them. If I can capture the grit of the area, but also the beauty and the colors that are created by these desolate areas.
I would have to say Pink Flamingo is my #1 favorite. That one has been very hard to part with. When I first created it, a lot of people were like, let me buy that. And I was like, I'm not ready. I like this one too much.
I always like diners at night because the architecture on them, for one, but also because depending on what the outside environment looks like, they always look really warm and inviting.
Crown chakra was named because there is a lot of purple. Purple is the predominant color in this piece, and that is the color of the crown chakra.
If you've ever been in our gallery at night looking across the street, you'd see our post office. It's just about the colors, and I try to focus on the light coming from the inside of the building and how dark it is around the building.
My most recent piece started while my husband had band practice because they were gearing up for their first show back since the pandemic. I don't know if there's any inspiration from that, but I was listening to them while I created this, and it felt really good to hear him play again. He was coming back to life.
And this is just the stop and save across the street.
I love the neon sign in that. I think that is part of, obviously, yes, that shadow of that tree is gorgeous, and the colors that you chose to use to reflect, but there's something about the neon and the way it's blurred. It almost feels like you're going warp speed.
Yeah. This is actually my favorite wall. All of the colors in each of these work together. They're all so intricate, but somehow they work together. They complement each other really well because I put so many different colors in that shadow, but all of them are in your mandalas. This is another one from the desert. I always think it's interesting with the big open area, and then these tiny areas that are buildings with little floodlights on them.
So the three smaller pieces, Blooming Flower, Golden View, and Infinite Waters, those were me trying to pare down from going with larger pieces. And then the Intergalactic, that one was me experimenting with negative space and trying to see how it would affect the design.
Thanks for watching the video.
We hope you come by and see the final closing show and visit us at Empire Arts Gallery.